What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little spread out through the last few days, but I promise it's going to be worth it. I'm going to release some info on a little meet and greet that we're going to be doing at the very end, so stick around. You're not going to want to miss that. But basically what we got to do today and over the next couple days is finish this thing up and kind of take you guys along with us as we work on our next project. So it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it, but I literally just picked this thing up. I just got home. I had a few modifications done to it that I couldn't do myself. I'm just not skilled enough, I guess. A lot of you guys have been asking about how this thing's gonna run with the 450X Yoshimura exhaust system on it. And I had a few modifications done to it. I just dropped it off and picked it back up in order for it to make it run right. It will run okay without doing anything to it, but it'll backfire a lot. And when it backfires, it eats away the system and you have to repack it quite a bit. But one thing you'll notice that I also had done was had this fender setup installed. So this is really cool. This is a 450X rear fender setup. So what it does is deletes that, here, I have it over here. I kind of mentioned this in the last video, but it deletes this whole bulky setup. And what you get is you run this, this is usually a running light. It's not a brake light for the 450X, but it's rewired. Under here you can see the wiring. It's rewired to be both a running light and a brake light. So pretty hyped on that. It's very clean looking, and then you have your license plate thing coming off the back, and then these blinker bulbs right here off the side. These look very sleek and a lot less noticeable than the bulkiness of the stock system. And then also I had them put on the front too. So a little less clutter. I think it looks quite a bit better, a little more clean is what we're kind of going for with this thing. I don't really know how to link you guys to have the info on getting this installed on your own system. So what I'm gonna do is I'll link it right here, how to get a hold of Enduro Life, which is my buddy Jeremy, and he can help you get in contact with Scotty, who installed all this for me. Scotty doesn't really have his business per se up and running yet, or how to, you know, get a hold of him, or else I'll link that. And I will link that as soon as he sends me information on it, but for now, the best way to get a hold of him is through the Enduro Life Instagram page, and they can set you up. Enduro Life has really been like trailblazers for this bike. They've really kind of like tried the exhaust system, made it work, and then tried these blinker setups and that tail light system and really dialed the bike in, shed some weight off of it. Oh, that's another thing. I also got the box back with all the stock parts that were taken off this. So what I want to do is I want to weigh all those stock parts as well as the stock exhaust system and kind of show you guys how much weight we've shed, because that's been kind of the #1 question on this bike, is how much weight can you get rid of? And if I had to guess right now, I'd say we'd probably shed about 20 to 25 pounds if I had to guess. I think that's performance and handling, that's definitely a positive, but I'm pretty stoked where the bike is right now. We only have a few more things to do. I got a checklist on my phone that we're gonna go through before we ride it, so let's get to it. And I'm gonna start with mocking up a rear fender graphic for that. Throttle Jockey has one. I totally dropped the ball and forgot to tell them that I needed a 450X rear fender decal, not a 450L. So kind of waiting on that. In the meantime, I'm gonna cut up the one I have now and mock it up. But also the last video, I got some number plates that are black. So I was able to get a hold of some more decals, Throttle Jockey. I hit them up and they literally sent these to me like right away. And I think it's gonna look really sweet. So maybe we'll throw these on first and see how they look, because I think that's gonna look pretty badass. And then also, like I said, I gotta cut up this decal. It fits up front normal. It's just this rise right here. I'm probably gonna have to cut away some of these stickers, unfortunately. So let's throw these side plates on. I'm gonna do the non-pipe side first. It's just this number plate bolt right here, and then we take off this one. It kind of snaps into this airbox cover. There we go, so it looks pretty sweet. Really can't notice the black plastic. Like I said before in the past video, I really didn't want that to be the only white thing. Like, just seeing that little bit of white right here was kind of bugging me. So that's why we went with black. Now we're finally starting to see the bike come together as a whole. So I'm pretty happy with the way that came out. As you guys know, the kind of the theme of this bike is black. You can even see it better like that. So keeping the white, I guess, little bit of plastic was key. Now I'm gonna go ahead and throw this pipe side on and then see how it looks from this side. I think this side kind of pops even more just because of that exhaust system. I think it's gonna look pretty awesome when we get the number plate on. This side looks awesome. So that, again, that black plastic, making the bike a little more stealthy, and then a gray background really just kind of ties it all in. I don't know, I'm super happy with the way that came out. This red's really sticking out like a sore thumb to me now though, so we really got to do something about this graphic and make it work, at least until I get the 450X Fender graphic kit, because look at how much better that looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and like measure this up off camera and see if I can get it cut up and dialed in nicely. We'll see what we can do. I think it won't look too bad. All right, we got the rear fender decal on finally. Didn't come out too bad. I definitely botched it like in this area. I'm not even sure if you can see that on the camera, but I had to cut this little slit in it to make up for that rise. I tried to just heat it up and wrap it around that, but the graphic material obviously has to be heavy duty enough to, you know, take a beating from rocks and roofs and all that stuff. So it's not thin enough to go, you know, to manipulate it around that gnarly of a plastic curve, but turned out pretty good. I'm pretty stoked on it. And then just cut holes for the hardware and the license plate frame. So yeah, it turned out sweet. So basically what I did was I just cut it with a razor blade, like slit it wide enough to compensate for that, then cut a hole for the tail light. The whole bike together with all the decals on it looks super good. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I don't know if I'm gonna run fork decals or not. It looks kind of naked, so I might, but we have a few more things to do to it. I'm really excited to finally ride this thing and watching it come together. From day one, like seeing where it was to where it is now is a completely different bike. And I remember when I first got this thing, I was like, oh, I really want to make it look like my race bike. And then it like slowly transitioned to completely tearing it down and, I don't know, documenting the whole thing really. So some of you guys doubted me a little bit, but that's fine. You know, I definitely, I think I turned some people around on the whole blacked out idea and the gray backgrounds and gray accents on the bike. So we have a few more things to do, so I'm gonna get that done tomorrow and kind of mash this all up into one video. All right guys, minor update, but I thought I'd fill you guys in. I just put a chain on the bike finally. I've had it sitting in my drawer for a minute and just hadn't really had a chance to put it on, but got it all cut and mounted. And I also wanted to show this because it looks really sweet with the all gold chain, and like it really makes the Dunlop tire sticker kind of pop. I guess you can't see it now, but yeah, ties everything together really good. And also, I guess I showed you guys the light mounts and all that stuff, but I never really showed like it turned on. So the rear, like I said, is just a it's the 450X tail light. So it's a running light, and then I grab the front brake, and then it just illuminates brighter for the brake light. And then the blinkers are pretty awesome. Just like really subtle and kind of hidden, not like all bulky like the stock setup is, but looks really cool. And then these front ones are just small. That's really bright. Yeah, so light setup is way cleaner now. Shaved a little bit of weight probably with that, and I'm just gonna keep cracking on this thing and updating you guys as I go along. Some more goodies for this bike just showed up from Hinson, so really excited to be working with these guys on this project. These guys, I've been working with them for probably 12 years now, even going back into my amateur days. The clutch I'm gonna install later, but this I really want to see what the clutch cover looks like. These are so trick looking when on the bike, so these look really good on this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this and throw it on real quick. I always feel like these make the bike look so much more like legit and like, I don't know, factory I guess would be the right word to use. So it'll come out of the box. There we go. These things look so clean, just like, I don't know, just makes the whole bike look so much cooler, I think, with this, just with this cover on. I mean, the clutch obviously adds a ton of different factors and benefits to it, but this clutch cover looks amazing. Okay, so I got the Hinson clutch cover on. Really happy with the way that comes out. I feel like the bronze kind of, you know, stands out from everything else, so it looks very clean. Another thing they include in this kit, which is pretty cool, is usually it's like a black plastic cover that kind of covers everything. And when you take off that black piece, it uses these bolts, and then it also uses 3 bolts that go into the cases, and Hinson provides hardware for those. When you use the black plastic on there, the bolts can actually like bottom out and even go further. So I didn't want to risk that. I left them out and was gonna source hardware before I wrote it. But it's cool that Hinson kind of provided that, and you know, it kind of like stands out, like it lets the clutch cover stand out without putting that plastic piece back on it. It uses the stock O-ring that came off of the back of this stock clutch cover, and yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to put the actual clutch in. I know that that's gonna be a huge performance mod. I always notice, like, right away when the bike has a instant clutch in it. A little bit more power, a little bit more connected to like throttle to the wheel. And I got to thank those guys for sending me that in such short notice. I literally talked to them like last week about building this thing, and they sent it out right away. So very happy to have them on board with this build. And yeah, I'm gonna keep on moving. I really don't have that much more to do to it. Just really want to kind of go over everything, and I got to set sag and a few other things before I ride it. Okay, so I'm picking this video up a few days after the last clip that you guys just saw. After that clip was filmed, things got a little hectic at the house here, so I had to put the camera down and really buckle down to get the bike finished, which I don't know if you can see in the background, it is 100% complete now. One thing that I wanted to show you guys, we had Champion Adventures come over. Colton Udall, you guys may know him if you're in the off-road world. You probably heard of him. I know he's a badass on a dirt bike, but he came over and he installed this Thermostat Delete for me. So I really wanted to get that just because I feel like from a performance standpoint, you don't really need a thermostat. Like on the road, yeah, it's awesome and makes a lot of sense. But when you're out riding trails or at the track, or which probably won't really happen on this thing, but mainly if you're riding off road, you don't want it to fail. So you don't want, you know, a thermostat failure and then the bike overheat. It does have a fan to help, you know, cool everything down, but if the thermostat's closed or stuck closed, then I don't know, I just don't want to be in that situation, which it's probably not going to happen, but it is kind of cool to have the peace of mind knowing that that is deleted now. But it also looks really trick on here. So he usually just does these polished, but he knew that the theme of this bike, it would look better kind of blacked out, or it's almost like bronze, which kind of looks cool, or not bronze, but a little bit gray, which it kind of matches this Hinson cover. It definitely makes the side of the engine look a little more trick. Another thing you might notice is that the bike is dirty. So I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to see this thing up close and personal. And I'm actually gonna host an event and we're gonna show the film that we shot on this thing yesterday. It's like kind of like a short film style video. So I'm gonna put it on YouTube, but I'm not gonna put it on until the day later. So it'll give you guys a chance to see it kind of a day before it launches. But I'm really excited. They kind of just sparked an idea with me and Mikey, and we kind of ran with it. And we filmed all day yesterday. We got some awesome footage, so I'm really, really stoked for you guys to check it out. But where we are gonna be hosting it is gonna be at Union Market in Mission Viejo. I'll put the address on the screen right now. It's gonna be from 7 to 11, and keep an eye out on my Instagram and on Mikey's Instagram and Bleachworks and all that stuff. We're gonna be releasing details over the next week or so, but yeah, if you can make it, be sweet. Like I said, you guys can check the bike out. You can meet me, meet Mikey, and kind of pick our brains on the way this thing turned out, or if you're doing similar builds, you can kind of get our opinions on it. But like I said, I'm really excited. It was an idea one day, and now it's an actual thing. And also, the date we're gonna be doing the event is gonna be May 26th. It's Sunday after the Paula National. So it's Memorial Day weekend, so that Sunday definitely worked out. I know if you have work on Monday, you probably have it off, so you can kind of come out and stay a little later than normal on a Sunday. So that was really a target date that we really wanted to lock down. And I would have liked to talk about this earlier, but it was kind of a good tease, and also I didn't want to say anything and then something happened to the venue and not be able to host there. So yeah, if you can make it, sweet. I'd like to see you there. I'm really happy with the way the clips came out yesterday, and it's gonna really kind of string together to be an awesome video. But if you can't make it, then you'll see it the next day. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So hopefully you can make it.
Aside from my soul.